Good morning, gamers, and welcome back to the morning news. My name is Mikey, and today I'm going to bring you all of the news from around the world that I think's interesting, and we might even talk about some Warhammer today. But welcome. Hello. If you're watching live, then let me know who you are and where you're watching from, because you today are my pirate reporters. You are going to bring me all of the news happening around the world that's happening in your area, whilst I bring you the news that's happening from my end. Okay, so let me know what's going on in your area of town. What have you seen? Anything interesting you want to talk about? Now's the time to bring it up. But hello. Let me say hello to everyone who's in chat, and again, if you're watching this back, really appreciate it. I stream every single Monday, Wednesday and Friday, and let me tell you what's going on. Hello. More than all, always a great start today when I hear that music. You are sweet talker, dear Wag. Thank you so much, mate. I appreciate it. How you doing? I am Jamartin, watching from Warnsville. Welcome, Jamartin. How are you? The Clockwork Guard, hello. How are you, matey? Dan Main, hello there. Grimslayer, I was only slightly late. only slightly late. Appreciate you tuning in. Myron Edwards, send it. Hello, mate. How are you? Abby Gabby, hi. And Nige, good morning to you, matey. Hope you're doing well. And Riverside, watching for bed as I'm sick. That sucks, bro. That sucks. I've just got to tell my Discord that I'm live. There's big drama. Tune in, baby. Tune in. Okay. I hope you're all doing well. Hope we're all doing good. I'm just double checking, make sure I've got everything set up. I think I've got everything ready. I think we're ready for a good one. Quite a big show today. We're talking a lot about. We're going to talk about some cheating. We're going to talk about some AoS Worlds drama. Maybe some of those are going to cross over. We're going to talk about AI. We got AI drama to go over as well, which is very funny. And look, it's a big one because look, I understand. Okay, all I'll say is I understand. But as I said, I stream every single Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. On Friday, I'm streaming an Age of Sigmar battle report. This is a full Age of Sigmar 4 battle report using the new General's Handbook. Which is very kindly sent to me by Games Workshop. Thank you to Games Workshop for sending me a load of review copies of all the stuff to talk about. I've realised I can't listen to this song because it's copyrighted. It's banger though. But we're going to be playing Ossiarch Bone Reapers versus Skaven. Now, it's not a smash fest. Here's the best list ever. It's going to be a slightly smaller game than what you are probably going to be playing when the full game comes out. Only ever so slightly smaller because me and Big C are still quite new to the game. Or new to the rules. Big C is new to Age of Sigmar. But I'm new to AoS 4. I've not only played it a handful of times now. But I have been painting my little endless spells finally. I've been painting my, what do they call it? Manifestations, as you can see. So I'm going to have all three of them painted up. I was airbrushing this last night. I think it's quite all right, actually. I think the blending on it looks pretty sick. So I've got these to finish off. So I'll be using, essentially, everything on my shelf. There's like 30 Mortek Guard, a couple of characters, a Harvester, some horsemen and stuff. So sure, that should be fun. Big C's going to be playing Skaven, as I mentioned. He's going to be playing a mixture of the new stuff along with a lot of the war machines from the previous edition. So it should be a pretty fun game. So that's happening Friday. And obviously Sunday, if you didn't see, I'm playing Street Hammer. I'm running the first Street Hammer event. If you don't know what I mean by Street Hammer, essentially all the players, I'm having 8 celebrities, 8 Warhammer celebrities. I know it's a cringe way to call them that, but you know what I mean. I'm having 8 Warhammer celebrities come into the arena and put up their army as a prize to play. So they'll be playing for pink slip. So basically, if they beat their opponent, they take the pink slip, which is it's essentially a logbook. UK fans, it's a logbook. All right. I don't know what if you're having Europe. In the US, I think you have pink slips for the ownership of cars when you meet them in a street race. But essentially, if they win their opponent's army. And if they lose, they have to give up their army, which is very funny. Very funny. Is it Spearhead or full rules? This Friday, we're playing AoS 4. Okay, we're playing the actual AoS game. Okay? I can't tell you much about how many points it is, but I'm saying it's not going to be like a 2,000 point game. It's going to be a smaller game, but it's going to be AoS 4. Okay, we're going to be using the faction packs, these things, and we're going to be playing a full game with the General's Handbook. As I said, we're playing out of here. This isn't Spearhead, this is AoS. But on Sunday, it will be Spearhead. The Street Hammer knockout event is Spearhead. Okay, and the logo is drawn by Big C. Big love to Big C, but also look at this bad boy. Oh, it doesn't play. That's not very good. Wait, why doesn't it play? Oh, it's a mob. Chat, that'd be so good if it worked. Chat, what can play mobs? It's not supposed. It doesn't look like that normally. Okay. All I'm gonna say is it doesn't look like that normally. Is it QuickTime? Do I have QuickTime? QuickTime player. Please install. God damn it. It looks sick. Okay. It looks mega cool. It looks mega cool when it plays. Chat, do I have to install QuickTime to show you this 3-second animation? I'm currently basically making the announcement or launch trailer, the trailer for the weekend event, and I've made that up. But if you say so, look, it moves. Chat, it moves. I've animated it. Repair QuickTime, please. The path cannot be found. Oh no. It's not there. Oh no, I can't play it. Chat, how do you get a VLC to play with QuickTime? A mob. It didn't work. You can't see it anyway. Is this the weekend people can come watch? No, it's gonna be it's a live event. You can watch it at home, right? It's a live event. You'll be able to watch it from home. You don't need to come anywhere. It's not like a come and have a look. It's please watch my live stream. It's content, baby. It's content. Why not real? What's real player? I just use VLC and it's not working. This looks like a scam. Yeah, so this weekend, Street Hammer, 8 content creators. We've got Pleasant Kenobi, we got Pete the Wargamer, we got Kirioth, we got Mark from Death and Destruction, we've got Louis, we've got Elliot, we've got Big C, and we've got Lady Kane. Okay, we've got 8 wonderful people. 8 wonderful people coming to play some excellent Warhammer on stream to let you watch, entertain, laugh. It's a live event, so you can come, sit down at home, grab a beer, and watch it on Sunday afternoon. That is happening at 3 o'clock. There is an animation somewhere. There's an animation. It looks cool. Look, that's one with a white background. That's one with no background. It's not supposed to be blue, but it does kind of move. Is there a plugin I can get? Is there a plugin I can get? DLC play more. Right click, choose add file, and choose specify mod movie. It needs a codec. Chat, this is not working. Okay, anyway, you get the idea. You get the idea. May you expect to watch you play Spearhead? I'm not playing, so no. No, I know. I want you to tune in and watch other people play while I laugh at them and say, that's a silly move. Why are they doing that? Also, the F1, you can just watch the highlights. The car's going to go fast. You already know that's going to happen. You don't know someone's going to make a 12-inch charge last turn to win. We don't know that's going to happen. Street Hammer like Street Countdown. Yeah, the terrain is glass bottles, okay, and needles. I've already told them if they get hepatitis, they can't sue me because they signed up to an event called Street Hammer, okay? If they come to an event called Street Hammer and get hepatitis from tagging themselves on a needle that we're using as terrain, that's not my fault, okay? And if it rains, tough. If there's a little bit of dog poo, that's cloud of flies, baby. That's -1 to 8 if you shoot over the dog poo. Cloud of flies. But it should be really fun. And so we've got 8 people. It's the first Spearhead tournament that's happening, like a content creator tournament. Like the first idea to use pink slip to give away the armies. But it's about the people, not the armies, right? We don't care. They can use whatever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The thing is with it is that it's like 8 wonderful people playing Warhammer, winning armies off each other, and then having a good time, okay? So that's the plan. So that'll be happening Sunday the 7th, which is this weekend at 3 p.m. Also, Sunday the 7th is the last day you can buy my woke t-shirt. !shop in chat. !shop. If you type shop, you can get a link to my merch store, We have our woke t-shirt which is ending sale this week. Also, the pre-orders for the objectives is ending this week. Everything should be getting shipped as of next week. So you see our woke heresy t-shirt, international shipping available. Members do get a discount. If you are a member, make sure you get the discount. Look at that. Look at it. Isn't it glorious? Isn't it so good? It's only available until the 7th. After that, it's over. Okay, available until the 7th of July, which is this Sunday. After that time, it won't be available again for the foreseeable. Cringe. Okay. The betrayal of the law, the IP, and the catering to the woke mob, or even allowing it to infiltrate past the perimeter of decency and fandom, is our Isfan3. What a classic line. What a classic line. What a classic line. And also, fucking someone on Instagram, right? Look, just so you know, look, I know a lot of you guys are single at home, right? I don't judge. I was single for a long time as well. I posted me eating a Solero, wearing the woke shirt, right? Okay. And someone said, gooning to this right now. Gooning to this right now. Okay. So look, I know it's hard. I know it's hard, all right? But it's hard for them too. Do you get it? They're literally gooning. They're gooning over me and my Solero. Is Mikey looking pinkish or is that me? I do look quite warm today. I'm wearing the first day I'm wearing trousers instead of shorts. Goon Squad assemble, right? Right? Alright, chat. Alright. We got some news to go over, okay? We got some news. We got some news. 7 wonderful people and Vince. Vince is wonderful. Soleros are incredible. Soleros are great. Look, it's a big day. We've got a lot to cover. So you know what time it is, okay? You know what time it is. Let's get our brains in check. Let's work out what our brains are doing, okay? Let's get them all warmed up. So work with me at home. I'm not going to read chat while we play Wordle, baby. Wordle. Oh, hard mode. Wait a minute. What's hard mode? Oh, yeah, we want to play that. We play that anyway. Hard mode. Hard mode Wordle. Okay. Let's start with the first proper guess. The guess of the century. Oh, I typed on the wrong thing. I typed on the wrong... One second. I typed on the wrong screen. I have to pause the music 1 second. Here we go. Shit. That's only one. That's only one, okay? So now we have to guess with that letter. Yesterday's was actually quite hard, but it was also a good guess. Holy fuck! I already knew there wasn't an N. I don't know why I did that. I already knew there was already an N. I don't know why I did that. We know there's an I. We know there's an I. Onion. Does that fit? That's a lot of... We know there's no N! Mikey, there's no N! What are you doing? Bio... Billick. Bilk. Bulk. Build. Build. B-U-I-L-D. Oh, there's no L. There's no L. No L. Biome. Oh, fuck. I'm running out of letters. This is hard. So we know it. I's got to be like, it's going to be like something, something, I, something, something. Or it's going to be like something, 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 I. How have I not got one letter yet? I've got not even no 2 letters. Tries XX. Tribe? No, there's no E or B. Dirt. D-I-R-T. No Y. No Y. That'd be so good. That'd be so good. There's this. Oh god. There's probably a Q in this one, isn't there? Let's calm down. Let's calm down. Let's breathe in. Into the nose, everyone. Out through the mouth. In through the nose. Out with the mouth. Try. Triter. There is an R. There could be an R. There could be a T. Tried. It's not a real word. Tides. There's no S. Fuck. Thick. Just thick fit. Oh, imagine. Tree. Oh, fuck. Okay, that's progress. We know it starts with a T. Thigh. Okay, baby. Got there. Okay. Thick thigh. That's all it was. It was thick thigh every time. Thick fat thigh. It was right there. How did I miss it? Ah, gamer moment indeed. Gamer moment. Okay. Oh, it's so good to be this good. All right, we've got hard mode on now. Weak. No, I don't fit. It's fine. It's only 4 letters. Gamer does fit. Gamer does fit. Is everyone watching a huge delay? Everyone's just spamming gamer. Have you had a go at Wordle? No, I'm very bad at geography. I probably should because I am bad at geography, but yeah. I'm very, very bad at geography. I'm very, very bad at like world geography. If it's in the UK, I know where it is. But if it's outside the UK, I got no idea. No idea. Thick thighs do save lives, and they save my wins at Wordle. Okay? They saved my wins at Wordle. It was all thick thighs. Geo gets a stream. No, I will be really bad at it. Anyway, that's the end of the Wordle segment. Thanks for joining me on that one. Really appreciate it. I hope you're enjoying the Wordle bits that we're doing. People seem to vibe with it. People seem to get really involved, which is cool to see. Okay, shall we talk about some drama? Drama. We got so much drama to cover. I don't think we'll be able to cover it all today. I'm going to try my best. I vibe with you. Thanks, man. Appreciate you so much. I know the Wordle was good because I was on a peak climb of viewers, and now I've ended Wordle. It's just declined. Okay, let's do some drama, shall we? If you don't know, my name's Mikey. Thank you so much for tuning in. Welcome to Hellstormwargaming. Now, the name of the channel is Hellstormwargaming, but on Wednesdays, I don't really cover wargaming, okay? I cover news. I cover things that are happening in the gaming area, in Warhammer sometimes, in AI a lot of the time. So if you don't know me, and then you're like, why isn't he talking about Warhammer? I pigeonhole myself with that name, and I detest it every day. I wish I was just Hellstorm Mikey, maybe. I'm not going to do a rebrand. But I do wish I was just like Hellstorm. Maybe Hellstorm Live. Maybe Hellstorm Live would be good. That'd be really, really nice. You know? Well, here we are. But we're going to talk about wargaming, but more specifically, video wargaming. Get it? Video gaming. Because it's W's. Video wargaming. But not W's. L's today. Because the Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2 open beta is cancelled. F in the chat if you wanted to play the open beta. Open beta? Open beta? I'm just reading Wordle in chat. You should just get rid of the war on the QT, like phase it out over months. Just so it's like Hellstorm Wargaming. People call me Hellstorm Gaming all the time anyway. That makes more sense. But yeah, so the beta has been cancelled. So IGN reported on it. It was a couple of days ago that this came out. I know I'm a little bit late to this, but here we go. Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2 open beta is cancelled, so the development team can focus on getting the game ready for launch. So, developer Saber Interactive and publisher Focus Entertainment announced a change of plan in a post to Space Marine 2 Steam page and offered a limited time bolt pistol skin to those who registered as an apology gift. Because if you didn't know, they're basically the people who are developing Space Marine Paper Interactive put out like a if you want to play in the beta site, fill this form in, and loads of people filled it in, obviously, because you can play the open beta, play multiplayer really, and try it out. But they've since recalled it, and the whole point is if you played the open beta, you got like a cool skin. Now they're just giving the skin anyway. Over the past few weeks, we've seen incredible excitement around the game, both online and shows during the North American tour, Saber said. Our teams at Focus and Saber have been truly blown away by your passion. By your passion. And we love seeing the fan art reactions and memes that you've shared so far. Space Marine 2 is almost ready, and we're now entirely focused on optimization, polish, and fixing remaining issues ahead of the launch of September 9th. This means we will not run a public online beta, as it will take the development teams away from preparing for the full launch, and our priority is to ensure the best possible experience at release. We know it's disappointing news for some of you, and as a thank you for those interested in participating, players who register via the online sign-up before June 28th, midnight Paris time, will receive the limited bolt pistol skin. Bolt skin. We appreciate your understanding and continued support as we work towards delivering the exceptional game you deserve. Which is very interesting. Which is very, very interesting, because on one hand, I think it's good that they're kind of like prioritizing. We want to make sure the game's amazing before we actually like launch it. So we want to make sure we spend every last possible minute on developing the game before it goes to launch. But also, they've already delayed the game once, maybe twice. They've delayed it at least once, okay? They've delayed it, and they still need, like, this extra little bit of time, which doesn't fill me with a load of confidence, you know? Hey, Big C, thanks for being a member for a whole year!
12 months of membership. They cancelled the beta because they're busy removing Space Marine
No,
cake.
not the Space Marine cake! That's the whole reason I wanted to play the beta! Because I am a beta, because I want to look at Space Marine cake, clearly.
Space Marine cake.
Thanks for the whole year, buddy. Really appreciate it. If you want to support the channel, you can. If we hit the member goal, which is right here, we'll be able to do a giveaway today. I've got some Steam codes to give away. I've got some other little fun prizes to give away. So if you'd like to support the channel, consider becoming a member. And if you are already a member, give the membership to someone else and tell them to become a member next time. So yeah, so like what I was saying is like, on the one hand, I'm glad that they're developing it and working on it and making sure it's perfect before launch. But also it worries me a little bit, like personally, not like a crazy like, oh my god, the game's dead, nothing like that. But it's just like that kind of like minor niggling in the back of my mind. Is like, if they haven't sorted it yet, even with like a year delay, how much more do they need to do? Like, if they're scraping for like time to finish it off, is it going to be okay to launch? I'd rather them say, yeah, we need this extra time, now it's perfect, rather than them go, we're cancelling the beta, launching it, having big issues and still having to develop it. It's kind of like just one of those like little concerns. I'm not here to say like the game's dead on arrival or anything like that stupid. You know, I'm fucking right-wing grifter. I'm just saying that's just something I thought about when I saw it, which is fine. You know, it's like I'd rather them just focus on it and it comes out and it's great. But it just does worry me a little bit, you know. I'm interested to hear your thoughts though. I'd love to hear what you guys think about the delay, but I've got shelves of 3D fan art for this game. And in beta periods for games, haven't been in beta for ages, more like a demo. Yeah, but if it's not ready like a month before, then is it ever gonna be ready? If they didn't delay it, it would just mean crunch and still unfinished. Yeah, I'd rather developers, like the people working on the game, actually have time spare to like see their families and relax between making the game. Obviously, I'm not saying, God, they're so lazy or anything like that. Just like one of those things, right? It's like, it's been delayed. They're pushing off the beta. They're going hard on this release date. Is it going to make it, you know? If you delay a game twice, 60% of the time, it works every time. That's not a great stat. Didn't Space Marine 1 get released as a buggy mess? Yeah, but also that was like fucking 15 years ago. Oh my god, I'm so old. When did Space Marine come out? ...2011. Bruh. Bruh. God, imagine waiting 30 years for a fucking sequel. Oh dear. Maybe let's go over Cyberpunk 2077. Yeah, for sure. For sure. I fully expect the game to launch in a horrible state. It's awful that I'm used to it by now, but I have zero confidence in being launches. Nothing against developers. It's usually the publisher's fault. No, I totally agree with you. Like, it has been a bit of a running sad joke. Sad joke that whenever a big game launches, we as the consumer is expected to play test it for them. Look at, like, Pokemon, for example. Like, a huge one of just, like, this game was fucked. It's great now. Well, people who bought it on the day, the game was fucked, you know? And it happens with every major release. My eternal optimism thought, oh, the game must be nailed on then. No need for bug hunting. No, they don't have time for bug hunting. That's what I'm worried about. You're the glass half full. I'm the glass half empty. I'm like, when are they going to test the bugs if they don't have, like, a beta, you know? It worries me that it says the multiplayer is going to be really jank without the beta. Yeah, potentially. Well, hopefully. Fingers crossed, you know? You know? Hopefully, fingers crossed. But maybe something exciting will be coming my way, okay? So, obviously, I played the Bolt Gun DLC on last week before. It wasn't last week. It was the week before. Yeah, so I played the Bolt Gun DLC on stream. Obviously, that is the developers for that is Auroch Digital, but their publishers is Focusrite Entertainment. Oh, Focus Entertainment. I keep calling them Focusrite Entertainment. Focus Entertainment, okay? All right. And they were like, hey, Mikey, we really liked the stream. Can we use some clips for it on our social media? Focus Entertainment. I was like, of course you can. No sweat. Not even going to charge you for it, you know? No sweat. However, I am doing a marathon stream for Space Marine 2. Want to talk? And they're like, yeah, let's have a chat. So maybe some cool things. No beta, except for there's no beta, but maybe they're just so worried about me. Okay, they're like, we need to make sure this game's perfect. So when Mikey goes live on the day and doesn't turn off stream until it's completed, we need to make sure it's right. All right. So that's exciting. So when Space Marine 2 does come out, I'll be playing it on stream, and stream won't end barring every 12 hours because I have to reset it. The stream won't end until I finish it, okay? So I'll be sat here playing Space Marine 2 all day, every day, okay? Until it's done. Now I'm hoping it's like a 15-hour session, not like a Elden Ring sort of level, but we'll be doing it. It'll be fun. So make sure, Focus and Saber, make sure it's gone. Because if I have to go through a buggy mess for 24 hours, I will kill myself, all right? No pressure. In Minecraft, I mean. Kill myself in Minecraft. The only beta we need is you, Mikey. Okay, let's move on to the next news. Let's move on to the next news. Are you going to cheat with tag teaming and co-op players to carry you? I mean, if co-op's part of the game, chat, all right? Look, I am an epic gamer, all right? Keep the death counter. Yeah, I will. I am an epic gamer. I don't think you all realize that. When you're talking to me, you're talking to a pro gamer. They said the campaign length is 12 hours. Yeah, but fucking Auroch, as much as I love them, said their campaign was 8 to 10 hours, and it took me 17, all right? They also said the DLC was like 3 to 4, and it took me 6. So I don't believe them. Don't believe them. I also play on hard mode, so I'm probably causing my own problems. But there we go. But anyway, I'm a gamer, all right? That's what you need to realize. Punish wheel on drunk stream. Do you not think punishment is not leaving this room until not turning off the stream until I finish? Do you think that's punishment enough? I think so. I am an epic gamer. People don't realize how good at game I am, okay? But there's also other people that are gamers, all right? Because I don't know if you knew, but I beat Elden Ring, all right? I beat the Elden Ring DLC, all right, all by myself. 62 attempts against the final boss. New game plus, one after another. I locked the fuck in, and I did it, okay? But I was there sweating, all right? I was sweating. I was panicking. I was not even like present at some points. People are talking to me in chat. I'm just ignoring them. All right. But Elden Ring's fucking hard. Okay. It's a fucking hard game. But some people mock the skill that I have. Because there's a kid on Twitter that said, a person's father said, I should say, my son has recently got into gaming, and of course he wants to play Elden Ring. He has autism and he's 8 years old and he's very low level and refuses to let me help him at all. This is him fighting Radahn. How does he fight Radahn while bouncing? He's bouncing and holding the controller one-handed. As far as I'm aware, he has like an unupgraded sword and he's under-leveled as well. Now, he's using summons, which is fine. But, like, how is he still playing? He's literally jumping up and down whilst playing and dodging every attack. He fucking does it as well. That's what's annoying. He does it. Look, he's like doing he's doing fucking star jumps. Look, he's fucking locked in when the meteor's coming down. Actually locked in, and then when he's back fighting, he does not give two shits. Which I thought was hilarious. He was like, he's been jumping the entire time. Radahn meteor suddenly stops, watches where it's coming from, locks in to make sure he doesn't get smashed. No jumping, meteor's coming. Right, he's landed. Let's jump again. I thought that was so cute. I thought that was so funny. I thought that was so good. But look at him go. Look at him go. Absolutely smashed it. I don't even care if that's fake. Because obviously you can't believe anything on the internet, right? I don't even care that that's fake. That kid is fucking loving life, right? He's loving life. He's playing the game. Or at least if he thinks he is, if he doesn't think he is, or whatever. It's like he's just really enjoying himself, and I thought that was so good. I thought that was so cool. So shout out to JNo33 for sharing it. I really appreciate it. A fucking just loving life. Just loving life, you know? Or you're just jealous of his skills get good. I can't do jump. I can't concentrate while jumping anyway. I'll be out of breath in 30 seconds. Never mind trying to concentrate what I'm doing with my hands. But he's fucking smashing it. So fucking, I love that for him. So get it, basically. Get it. Benny calories and bosses simultaneously, literally. Going to audio and mini trampoline. That's autism for you. Yeah, I mean, like, at the end of the day, like, autism has such as wild scales, and sometimes just people, or as far as I'm aware, like, kids sometimes just seem that they have loads of energy, but it's just like essentially like a coping mechanism, or like a way that they just like exert energy because they're so overstimulated or understimulated that they just go, I just need to jump. And while he's doing it, he's fucking fighting Radahn. I love that for him. I love that for him so much. It makes sense if he's altered can't regulate his emotions and energy, so it just results in him bouncing. Yeah, exactly. Like, at the end of the day, we don't know. Like, autism's a huge scale, right? It's just a huge spectrum. But, like, ultimately, it doesn't matter because he's just fucking bouncing a lot. I mean, it just seems like he's loving life anyway. He's fighting Renard. He's hyped when he kills him. The lock-in when the meteors come in is super cool. So, yeah, fair play to that kid. But listen, Elden Ring is hard, okay? Don't let this one kid who absolutely smashed Radahn while bouncing. Don't let him fool you. But the thing is with Elden Ring and FromSoft games as a whole, the thing is with like Elden Ring and like FromSoft games as a whole, is the whole marketing is this game is hard, okay? This game is hard. Don't forget the sales pitch of Dark Souls 1 was Dark Souls, prepare to die, okay? Because the whole point is FromSoft games are notoriously difficult. The whole point is you're supposed to overcome the impossible odds, learn patterns, and then win. The problem with that is that Elden Ring, especially with Elden Ring now, that people have started to like get like a really like dog shit opinion, and just like there seems to be like a bit of a cult of like, well, if you play with magic, you're a cheater. Oh, if you play with summons, you're a cheater. Oh, if you do this, you're a cheater. And it's just like this really like toxic, like really toxic community around games like Elden Ring. Of like, oh, if you don't play the proper way, like we've decided, then you are bad at the game, and you should just get good. But also people just asking for like helpful features are just getting attacked as well. Like there was an article with Miyazaki, the developer of Elden Ring, last week that said he's really bad at video games and uses summons. Okay, you know, he's really bad, he uses summons. That's fine. It's part of the game. Okay. But there was also people asking, would they ever make the game easier? Okay, would they ever like add a lower difficulty setting? And he said, no, that's not the point. We want people to overcome it because you can do it without getting hit on a low level. It is possible, and that's the whole point. That's the point of the game. If you had an easier option, then it's not quite the same game. And I get that, because the whole point of FromSoft games is a challenge and people have to overcome, and then the hype around that is interesting. If they added an easier setting, then I imagine a lot of the coverage of things like Elden Ring would be like a lot lower. But people are getting mad now at Alana Pierce. Like, Alana's just like a big gaming influencer, because she said that Elden Ring should have a pause button. And now she's getting loads of hate on Twitter. This is a clip that someone posted saying, Elden Ring needs to be easier because I have kids. Do you think she's the type of chick to park in a handicap zone because she thinks having kids is a disability? Obviously, you know there's going to be a dog shit take with a fucking tweet like that. But let's have a look, watching the video, see what she's actually got to say.
Is concerned. There are long-term disabilities. There are situational disabilities. There are temporary disabilities. It counts as a disability where a video game like Elden Ring is concerned if you have a kid. You have a 2-year-old, you're trying to play Elden Ring, you can't pause. That is a situational disability that you have, where the game not having the option for you to be able to pause, for example, is a hindrance for your particular disability a situation is concerned.
Hopefully you can hear that. I realize it was super quiet. I'll go through it one more time just in case it was a bit quiet.
Is concerned. There are long-term disabilities. There are situational disabilities. There are temporary disabilities. It counts as a disability where a video game like Elden Ring is concerned if you have a kid. You have a 2-year-old, you're trying to play Elden Ring, you can't pause. That is a situational disability that you have, where the game not having the option for you to be able to pause, for example, is a hindrance for your particular disability a situation is concerned.
Now, I don't think she frames herself in a great light. Now, obviously, this is a clip out of context. I don't have the full video. But, like, obviously, this is like, she doesn't set herself up right here. I don't think anyone can defend her and say kids are a disability. Obviously, that's not what she's trying to say. I think the whole point of situational disability is she's trying to say she's got a situation handicap. You know, I can't pause the game whilst I've got a kid, but I need to deal with something. So then in Elden Ring, it's really hard. Maybe they should have a pause button. I understand what she's trying to say. You know, I understand, but obviously Twitter meatheads don't understand. Obviously, you know. Now, should Elden Ring have a pause button? maybe. I mean, people like to say, I think someone's already brought it up in chat saying, there's a secret pause button if you get into equipment and then open a tutorial screen, which is cool. That is a nice way to pause the game, but it's also not like a really accessible pause button, especially if it's not like a feature, right? It's kind of like an accidental. She's correct. Single-player games need pause buttons, period. Not only for if you have kids, but also other accessibility issues. That's a hard 180 swing for me there, Mikey. Went into skeptical degree, came out agreeing with it. No, but I don't agree. I don't agree that she thinks this. I don't think that, you know. But and also I don't think she says this either. But I think using the term situational disability is probably not the best sort of terminology for the problem, which is like, I have a kid, I need to pause the game, which I totally get, which I totally understand. And I don't think that'd be like a big problem with, you know, like, I don't think that'd be a big problem in Elden Ring. I don't think that's a big problem in most games. Because, like, in Elden Ring specifically, right, if you're riding around on Torrent, right, and someone invades you, your character automatically dismounts, okay? If you get invaded by an NPC, if you get invaded by a real person online, then you dismount from Torrent because you can't ride Torrent whilst fighting NPC. Don't know why, it's just one of those things, right? Or fighting an invader. But the same thing could happen if you are invaded or whatever for online capability or whatever, is you could pause the game, but the enemies or the non-real people pause. But if you are invaded at that point, you could like unpause the game to be like, well, obviously you can't just like deny invaders because you pause the game. You know, if you pause and then someone invades you, much like you would dismount from Torrent, maybe it like unpauses your game as well, which would be very shit if you did pause your game to go do whatever, you come back, you find you've been invaded and been killed. That'd be very frustrating. But that's like kind of like a half in, half out situation of like, you've added a pause button to Elden Ring, so people who need to pause it for whatever reason can. But also you're not denying the part of the game which is like invading and summoning. Maybe you can't invade while there's an online thing happening, you know? But most people can turn that off anyway. They can also go, I don't want to play online, so I'll disconnect from the Elden Ring servers, and they can pause it whenever, you know? But I think the terminology of saying situational disability, I understand what she's trying to say, but obviously if you throw in the word disability and then start saying having kids is a disability, which it obviously isn't, people are just going to make that connection and be like, why are you saying having kids is a disability? Because obviously it isn't, you know? Without a pause button when you play offline. Yeah, exactly. Like, you could have this situational pause button while you like throughout the game, but if you disconnect, you pause it, it's fine, you know? Not having a pause button is really a fake way of adding a challenge. It doesn't make the game hard, it's just annoying. No, I agree. I definitely agree. You know, it's just like, it's one of those, it's kind of like forced difficulty almost. Because ultimately, it doesn't add to the difficulty. It's just like, oh, well, I've got to go do something, so I automatically die. From what the clip you don't know, settle with the comments where a long clip may have come across better. Shall we try and find it? All games should have pause buttons. What do people do if the doorbell rings, or do all Elden Ring players just have their mums answer the door for them? Bro, I just ignore the door. I just ignore the door, okay? So I think it's this video.
The day has finally come. The people have finally spoken. So listen up, Miyazaki. Elden Ring's DLC is too hard. I have like a couple of like kind of very different branching takes to make.
I think
in this video.
Is the clip.
I am going to talk about accessibility and why I think accessibility is really important and how common of a conversation accessibility. So this is the second half of this video where I'm going to talk specifically about accessibility, and even
what a good click.
Just a lot of people really not understanding the conversation about accessibility in Elden Ring. It has been brought up various times across various mediums by various people that Elden Ring is not, or FromSoft games in general, are not particularly accessible to disabled players. And people who are asking for accessibility are not actually asking for an easy mode. That isn't the intent. Here's the thing I want to spell out where accessibility is concerned. People who are disabled, I felt myself doing it, I'm going to do it, is another tangent. There are also multiple kinds of disabilities, especially where gaming is concerned. There are long-term disabilities, there are situational disabilities, there are temporary disabilities. It counts as a disability where a video game like Elden Ring is concerned if you have a kid. You have a 2-year-old, you're trying to play Elden Ring, you can't pause.
It's not a great setup. It's not. I understand what she's trying to say. I don't think it's a great setup.
It is a situational disability that you have, where the game not having the option for you to be able to pause, for example, is a hindrance for your particular disability, a situational disability. You may need to pause to stop your kid from putting a fork into a socket, a power outlet. In Australia, we call power outlets PowerPoints, but when I moved to the US, I got bullied for that because people thought that I was referring to like a PowerPoint slideshow, so trying to get that one out of my vocab. And there are temporary disabilities. You break your wrist, you sprain your wrist, you temporarily have trouble playing video games. You would need something to help you press certain buttons if you're playing Elden Ring. The third one, long-term, people who have long-term disabilities. That I do. I have tendonitis in both of my wrists from playing too many video games. Unironically, that is a thing, from tapping too much. That means any rapid button mashing in any game, I'm going to have a lot of trouble with unless there are accessibility options to prevent that. It's part of what I worked on God of War Ragnarok. That's part of why I made an accessibility award show to like highlight this particular thing is like, I have a lot of trouble with fighting games. I have a lot of trouble with any game that's really button mashy. If there are too many button prompts, I'm going to be in pain and have to like ice my wrist afterwards and not really be able to play it. And here's the thing about accessibility in Elden Ring. Where any of those things are concerned. I think there's a misunderstanding that people think disabled gamers, whoever else, want an easy mode. This is not the case. It's that the appeal of Elden Ring being really fucking hard is also appealing to people with disabilities. They too want to play the extremely hard game that is very hard for them to beat. They're not asking you to give them an easy mode and make it easy for them to get through. They're asking for a version of the game that can be played with their particular disabilities, so they can still enjoy really hard games as well. The complications with this conversation arise, I think, with Elden Ring specifically. Like, yeah, there are so many people who just dismiss it as like, shut up, who cares about you, you're disabled, which, you know, fuck off. Second, people just assuming they're asking for easy mode, and that's not the case. It's not an easy, it's not even less difficulty, it's more options. But third is the unique challenge with FromSoft games of completing them being such a point of pride. They intentionally make these games difficult. Like I already said, this is an established ethos of the...
I could keep watching this. I think all of her points are very, very valid from what I've heard so far. I think the terminology of saying kids are a situational disability is not a great look. I think she probably could have said like anything else and she probably would have been fine. You know, I think she would have like what she was trying to say was on point. You know, if you've got a kid or you've got a disability, you know, and you need a minute to do something, whether that's to sort out a kid to stop and plug a fork in the socket, or saying, oh, I need to, you know, maybe I need to go to the bathroom and it's not as normal as just holding it until I need to go, you know, maybe I need to go and deal with something that because of there's something that is causing my or a cause of my disability or a symptom of my disability. I need 30 seconds to deal with this. Having a pause button on a game is not a crazy concept and it's not a crazy idea. But the terminology she used is probably just the worst way she could have put it. She could have said it any other way. It probably would have been fine. No one would have put it up, but obviously because she said, "Oh, having kids is a situational disability," that's obviously just makes her sound a bit silly, you know. But I do want to clarify: I 100% agree with this. The point she's trying to make, I do agree with. It's just how she's phrased it is really bad. Okay. I think she's using disability in a very literal way, i.e., anything reduces your ability to do something. Yeah, that's what I think. You know, that's what I think that's where she's kind of like fell over with this, because I think the conversation she's having is very valid. You know, I just think the way she's phrased, like she's set up that the accessibility is correct, but the way she's like kind of like worded this is just like bad, and that's why obviously out of context it looked really bad. In context, it didn't look much better, but it was definitely better, you know. But she's getting loads of hate of this. She's getting loads of hate on Twitter about this. But also people are just kind of like dunking on the tweet as well, because obviously the original tweet sets it up really badly, but then a lot of people are coming out and saying, actually, no, you're being really stupid. I'm trying to find a funny tweet that I saw. Essentially, the original tweet is just like loads of hate because obviously, blonde woman talking about video games, she's just gonna get hate. That's just sadly how the internet is, right? Oh, there's a funny meme I wanted to show you, but I didn't pull it up. It was from Stans. This one. I don't think it's bad to want a pause button in a single playing game. Which is right, you know what I mean? It's right. Like, it is a single player game. There is an aspect of multiplayer in games like Elden Ring for whatever, for like you know, like there is an aspect of multiplayer, as I mentioned, we talked about invading and summoning, but yeah, I just think the way she's phrased it has not set herself up so well. And then just people just fucking like Alana Pierce is in a literal industry plant. Like what does that mean? What are you trying to say? You're just being a knob, or let's be honest. There's people trying to commute and note it, which I believe is about the original tweet. Souls fans where people have lives. But that's the thing. It's generated such a toxic fandom, which is really real shame to see. And you get this in everything. Obviously, everybody has part of it is a toxic fandom. But it is kind of like someone going, "Oh, I beat Radon," and then someone else going, "Did you use summons?" And they go, "Yeah." It's like, "Oh, well, you didn't actually beat him then." It's like, that's not really how the game. That's not how the game has been put out. It's not. You only play with exclusive things, or you've not completed it properly, or if you don't get good, you are shit, and you are just a fake fan. Go and grind. You know what I mean? It's not really helpful. It's not helpful whatsoever. But it has. It's that as the community of Elden Ring has grown, because I've been playing. I'm an OG FromSoft fan. Okay, Dark Souls 2 trophy. Dark Souls 2 limited edition Xbox 360. Fucking statue there. You know, the Faram Knight. Look, I'm OG, and it's only recently that people have been like, well, no, you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do this. That's not playing it properly. Where before it's just fucking, if you kill the boss, well done, all right? Well done. Did you keep playing it? Great job, because that's the hardest thing. But yeah, it's just wild. It's just wild. So. Taking someone with a 2-year-old, could be playing a game, kid wakes up, you need to go get him, dying for that is fake difficulty, pausing lets you sort them out, come back to the game. No, I agree. And let's be honest, if they added a pause button, and you're against fucking final boss, spoilers, final boss, you're fighting fucking the stupid one, and he's like smashing down and blowing light everywhere. If you pause it and then try and get back into it, you're probably dead anyway. But at least you've had the option, you know? You know? At least you've had the option. There's a document that game developers use that describe different disabilities. The terminology is just ingrained into the game developers, unfortunately. Yeah, so she mentioned that she's like worked on like health work with like God of War Ragnarok. So maybe internally, game development, they call situational disability like children knocking about or distractions as like a situational disability. Like, when you start saying that outside, it just sounds weird. Maybe in that context, it probably makes sense. But when you start saying it to people who don't use this terminology, it just sounds a bit off. And I think that's the issue. Can we get a pause button in Helldivers 2? That would be fun. You just keep pausing it so I can't play. Even Pokemon has done it for years. Connect to the internet, shut 3DS, pause his game and disconnect you, open DS and hit reconnect. Yeah, I agree. I don't really care either way, and I get her point, but I think it's right, but I think hardcore players just see it as an echo of things that came before about FromSoft game too hard. Yeah, like people just, I think there's a bit of a meme of like, oh, you know, it's just like Dark Souls. This is the new Dark Souls of etc. So I think like there's like a bit of like a gate. There's a very much a gatekeeper issue with like difficulty of FromSoft games. You know, there's definitely that vibe, which is just frustrating to be honest. As like a fan of the series, you know, it's just like it is frustrating. Double rings, get good, scrub. Kids shit themselves, get good. Yeah, imagine you grinding final boss on an Elden Ring DLC. You're about to kill him. It's 2 in the morning, and then your kid starts crying. Are you just gonna ignore him? No, you should go deal with it. Like a good parent. Anyway, I thought it was funny. I thought it was a funny one. It's just like an interesting conversation. And again, I do think the point she was trying to make is correct. I just think she could have worded it way better. And that's why she's getting a load of hate. But there's also loads of people coming out and saying, actually, no, you're just being stupid. It feels like there's more people coming out saying, no, you're being stupid, you got a point, than there is, you know, like coming out and saying, oh, you're a knobhead or whatever. Or saying you're an industry plant, which literally means nothing. So anyway, that's enough about Elden Ring now. Let's talk about cheating at AoS Worlds, shall we? Allegedly. Allegedly. If a bloke had said it'd get less hate, yeah, definitely. I said, white blonde woman talk about video games? Cringe, that's what people think. I obviously don't think that. Best solution, play Armored Core. Oh, mate, I've really enjoyed Armored Core. You know? I've been really enjoying Armored Core. I've been playing it offline. It's so fun. It's just Neon Genesis on crack. It's so good. Anyway, alleged cheating at AoS Worlds. Well, there's been a statement. Anyway, someone's been kicked off a team. Now, I will put my hands up in the air and say, I can't find what's happened in this particular instance. We've got two situations we're going to be talking about AoS Worlds, which happened this weekend just gone. Two different situations. But I can't find the drama, which is for one of them, the first one. All I can find is the statement, and no one's coming out and saying anything, which is very annoying. But I thought I'd raise it. That someone in Team Ireland has been booted off the team. The team made a statement last night. A statement from the 2024 AoS World Team Ireland. We would like to issue a statement regarding an unfortunate incident that we've been told took place at AoS World Team Championships this past weekend involving one of our players. Team Ireland in no way condoned the player's reported conduct towards another attendee at Worlds. Team Ireland deeply regrets and wishes to apologise for what happened, both to the persons involved and to the wider AoS community. We cannot tolerate aggressive behaviour from anyone. So it sounds like someone got fucking angry, right? With our team towards anybody that makes them feel frightened or unsafe and unwelcome in or around the AoS community. We cannot stand for conduct that harms the reputation of Team Ireland or puts the character of the members of our team in question, even by association. For those reasons, we have officially issued the player in question with a lifetime ban from representing or affiliating himself with Team Ireland affiliated events, and any and all activities involved. We wholeheartedly and sincerely apologise to everyone involved, and we hope that the action we've taken illustrates the sincerity of how we feel about what's happened and our commitment to ensuring nothing like it ever happens again involving our team. So, I don't think someone was cheated in this instance. Like the next instance, maybe. But it sounds like someone's being super aggressive. But I can't find anything about it, which is actually quite surprising. And also good. It just means people aren't just showing it for the sake of it. But yeah, so someone's been kicked off Team Ireland for being aggressive. But we don't really know. But that was it. One initial statement from Ireland. They've not said anything else. Okay, as far as I can tell. Yeah, from what I can tell, there's been nothing else that's been said. I've not been able to find anything. If you know, if you got some interesting news about it, then do feel free to share it. Because ultimately, without the full story, it's a bit of a nothing burger. Someone's been kicked out for some reason. We don't know why. You know? I believe the drama incident was to do with the gotcha take back. Someone got angry about it. Potentially. Because there's also another interesting conversation around AoS Worlds to do with sportsmanship. Okay. Now, my good friend Dan, part of Team England, I've got a lot of time for Dan. We go way back. We've known each other a long time. Want to get my biases out of the way first. I am friends with Dan, but I do wholeheartedly agree with what he's trying to say. He tweeted after AoS Worlds, after England came second, I think it was, or England did pretty well. Sat at the airport reflecting on AoS Worlds. Maybe it's anecdotal and most of my opponents were amazing, but I've still come away from the event feeling sad. Too many words for a tweet, and this is what they had to say. The AoS community needs to decide what kind of games we want at AoS Worlds. Playing the top level at Worlds 3 years in a row, and this was by far the most toxic atmosphere I've ever experienced, which is not a good selling point, okay? Competitive Warhammer in general and competitive games already have a bad rap, So for someone to come out and say this, like, I'm not saying Danny's like adding to the problem. All I'm saying is like, it has a bad rap and people are still having issues, which is like a little bit sad, basically. But consistent expectation of getting to your table and expecting your opponent to just play the worst kind of Warhammer is not good, which I agree with. I don't want to come to another event and not be grown-ups about take-backs in inverted commas. This is a world where you can be firm but fair in the spirit of the game. Some absolute horror stories that suck the fun out of the game. So essentially, it's talking about like I think there seems to be a bit of an idea of clean Warhammer, like clean Warhammer at AoS Worlds in particular. And the idea of clean Warhammer is you play the perfect game. There are no takebacks. There are no questions. You must know everything about your opponent. If something happens, it's gone. And but it's raised a lot of interesting stories from what I've heard. Like, again, there's a lot of interesting things about this tweet. Agree with this and been thinking about posting similar. The clean Warhammer that has been held up as the epitome of the game is well and good. That's been taken too far into timing gotchas. I played 6 old world ETCs. This isn't the culture we want. We can be better. Edson pointed out it's those few players who intentionally try and get one out over their opponent who has forgotten something that needs rooting out of competitive Warhammer. Mike coming in and saying, Mike, like previously, I played Mike. He's a great dude. Really big love for him. I think he's what helps Goonhammer writes articles for those as well. Annoys me that I feel compelled to ask a tournament what kind of game of Warhammer they want to have, what feels kind of necessary. And I'm not even an international level player. All that is to say, I'm very sympathetic to your point in here and wish you didn't have to say anything. My experience of Worlds was not reflective of this. There were no gotcha incidents in any of my games. Which is good, which is very good to hear, right? But it's very anecdotal. Like, I didn't see anything. That doesn't mean it's not happening, but I'm glad you didn't have an issue. Obviously, it is happening if all other people wouldn't be like, yeah, I agree, what's happening? You know? Now, one of the things I did see, I can't remember exactly which tweet, I'll try and find it, but it was something like, you know, like adding like a... like, obviously, like, AoS has added a very reactive system, you know? When your opponent does something, you can react to them. And it sounds like some people were, like, manipulating the chess clock. And there's some, obviously, everyone's using chess clocks. There's some rule about chess clocks that if you don't answer or don't call your reaction in time, you've missed the timing because the moment has gone on. Much like in Magic, right? If someone does something and you don't call them to do a reaction, then it's gone. The timing's gone. But people are trying to hold up this sort of standard of like timing, which is like kind of like, it's a bit of a weird one in Warhammer, but like people are trying to uphold that in these games because like it's just a bit of a weird one because like there are a lot of abilities in Warhammer are just abilities that happen when something else happens, right? Yeah, it's the stack. Yeah, exactly. People are trying to like chess clock the stack essentially. That's probably the quickest. If you know what that means by Magic, you can understand where I'm going. But there's also a lot of abilities that are very reactive. They're a bit not like a gotcha as such, but they're very reactive at a time. If your opponent does this, you can do this. Not like if your opponent does this, this happens. You know, there's some things that always happen, and there's some things that happen if you make that decision, such as redeploy, right? Redeploy. It's not in 4th edition, we talk about 3rd edition AoS, but if your opponent ends within 9 inches of one of your units, you can make that unit move d6, okay? It's a very reactive thing. It's not really like I wouldn't say it's a gotcha, but it's a very reactive thing that you have to choose when you want to do it. And it sounds like some people were trying to utilize the chess clock to deny things like that, you know? Like, well, you haven't called it in time, or the chess clock's on you, so what? Now it's back to me, so you don't have time. You know? But then I'm just looking at the quote tweets because there's like an interesting one. This one from AoS List Lab says, seems like a cultural thing that English privilege spirit over rules. This is an interesting thread which highlights one of the great things about international competition, different countries, cultures, and perspectives coalescing. Let's see what the replies were, because I think that's an interesting one. What's worse, I don't think you should even be asking for takebacks in a top-level competition. Make your mistake, learn from it, and move on. But as the thread highlights, there's clearly a range of views on this. It's not about traditional takebacks. One of the examples is when a player declared an ability as they were hitting their chest clock. Opponents said that the clock was touched before the ability was fully declared, and therefore the ability could not be used. And this is from the coach of England, I think, coach of England and Scotland. So this is the example. Thank God I found it. This is what I mean. So he said one of the examples is when a player declared ability as they were hitting the chest clock, and it was not fully declared, and therefore the ability could not be used because they hit it before they declared it. Just to be clear, ref was called immediately, said that it was nonsense and the ability could be used. The refs were great as always and ruled in the spirit of the rules. Just shouldn't happen in the first place, and there should be penalties for trying to get away with it, which I also agree with. So one of those, that's a really bad, like a bad example. Obviously, it's an isolated example, but that's a bad example. But I think this idea of like the English privilege of spirit over rules, I think there's a difference of like following the rules and like using the rules, if that makes sense, you know? Like if someone goes like, oh, I'm going to charge here, and then they charge, they do nothing, then lose their unit, and then they go, oh, actually, do you mind if I take that back? That's not following the rules. That's just going, oh shit, you know, I shouldn't have done that. That was a bad mistake. And that's accepting a mistake in a game, right? But I think if there's something like abusing a chess clock, and for example, Dan also brought up, I'm going to jump ahead a little bit for another situation they spoke about. This one, it says, I never expect my opponent to take off their faction terrain because it was tiptoeing out of their deployment actually happened. I'd simply be a grown-up and tell them to nudge their terrain back in and we carry on. You know, this, in my opinion, isn't a take-back, okay? Even if they said, oh, I'm going to move it back, do you mind? You know, that isn't a take-back. But also expecting someone to remove it is crazy, in my opinion, because it can't go there, okay? For example, you have your own terrain piece. A lot of terrain, it says set up in your half of the board or whatever, in your territory. And the opponent was like, oh, well, I've messed up, so I'm going to pull that back. I think there's very much a big difference between following the rules and using the rules against your opponent. Because ultimately, they have broken the rules by putting their faction terrain outside their territory. But if I go up to a table and say, oh, actually, that is 0.01 millimeter or 0.1 inch if you want to stay in the correct format unit, you know, outside your territory, so that faction terrain piece is destroyed, you have to remove it. In my opinion, that is the most toxic, horrible thing, like the worst attitude you can have in a game. Whether you're playing the game at a store and you've got half-built models and half of them are made of blue tack, or whether you're playing on the world stage in front of 1 million people at the biggest event you've ever played, because there'll never be 1 million people watching, but the biggest event you can think of, in my opinion, that is just actually crazy. Because I think sportsmanship goes a long way of like, you know, there is a level in Warhammer of give, because we are playing a game where there are so many variables that can screw up a perfect game. You know, you can measure something and you can get right down and you can move it 6 inches, but you'll have never ever moved a unit exactly 6 inches. Okay, it is like nigh on impossible. Okay, because getting a tape measure near it and sliding it to where the 6 is not the same. It's not moved exactly 6 inches. It's probably moved a little bit more or a little bit less. You can't do that because it's just like, it's almost inhuman unless you're spending 10 minutes moving it exactly perfectly, using laser guides and everything. Okay, you can get pretty close. Probably doesn't make a difference, but you can't do that, you know? So are you going to sit there and go, well, actually, you've moved 6.0.0.1. Can we get the laser tape measure to check? Like, you're not going to do that. There's a spirit of understanding of, like, we're playing a game with physical models on a physical board. Our arms are waving around. We're rolling dice everywhere. Things like that are going to happen. And I think there's a level of give that people have to understand. And trying to say, like, well, if you cock up, it's a clean game, it's your own fault. I think that's really toxic, and I don't think that's something that we should be promoting when we're trying to put this game on a world stage. It's called AoS Worlds, right? Sportsmanship is the most important thing to me, full stop. My best sportsman trophies are my proudest achievements over my first place ones. I totally agree. Look, when I play a lot of Warhammer, Age of Sigmar and 40k, okay? I'm award winning. Look at them. Look, there's trophies there. I've thrown trophies away. I've got that many, okay? like, ultimately, there's a level of understanding and respect that you have to have for your opponent of like, this is what I'm trying to do, you know? And I think that, I don't think clean Warhammer is you expecting your opponent to be perfect and calling them out or pulling them up on things that they've done, which is a mild mistake, for example, you know, at the start of the game, or like you tell everything your opponent, your army does or whatever, and then they do like 3 turns in, they move within 9 and then your redeploy is better than everyone else's, right? You know, like, we all know redeploy is a thing, but then they've got a super one that moves 6 inches rather than D6 or whatever. Let's say that, for example. And you move within 9 and you go, oh, well, they can only move D6. And then you go, actually, they move 6, bye, I'm gone. And it's like, oh, well, now I forgot about that. Can we reconsider? In a game that I would be playing, and maybe that's why I'd never win, but here we go. I'd rather win this way than not win at all. Actually, that's because I'm a cunt, right? I've thrown so many trophies away. I've got so many. It's such a flex just to casually say and move on. I've been playing a lot of Warhammer, okay? But the point is if that situation happened, in my opinion, if I was the guy who had the auto 6 redeploy, I'm like, hey, mate, just so you know, before you move, I can redeploy flat 6, okay? And I'm like that all the time. Ask any of my opponents, to a point where one of my opponents, Mark, lovely bloke, right? I was like, just so you know, I'm going to remind you of my reactive move, my reactive abilities in your turn. For example, I was playing Insectors, right? They could deep strike 3 away. So whilst, and my army has a lot of up, down, normal deep strike, okay? But some stuff can deep strike just 3 inches away. And whilst they're moving, I'm like, hey, Mark, just remember, I can deep strike 3 away in this game, okay? In this turn, because I've got like rapid ingress in 40k, for example. I've got rapid ingress. I can deep strike in their turn, okay? I'm like, hey, Mark, just remember, at the start of your movement, I have stuff in reserve and I can rapid ingress. And be aware, I can rapid ingress more than 3 rather than 9. And he's like, okay. And then he's moving. He's like, he's starting to look like coming to an end. I said, and I am just there. I was like, hey, just remind him, Mark, don't forget, I can rapid ingress and I can deep strike 3. And he said to me once, and he said, like, I love and hate playing against you. And I was like, why? And he said, I love it because you're so open, but also you tell me everything. I can't make a decision. And I was like, look, I can shut up if you want me to, but I would rather play you at your best with all of that information rather than waiting for you to forget to capitalize on it. Because I do think like that's my opinion, and that's what I think clean Warhammer is beating my opponent when they are fully informed. Whenever I play people, I'm always like, I want to play you at your best, and I want you to play me at my best, and I want us to like win, one of us to win, because we played our best. So I'm constantly like reminding my opponents of this and that. I've got Armor of Contempt. I've got -1 damage. I've got this ability. I've got that ability, and I'm constantly having that back and forth. And my opponents are all almost doing the same, you know, like also doing the same. Sorry. But if I come up to a game and someone's like, oh, actually, and they gotcha me straight. Let's say I've had a turn and I'm like, hey, man, I've got this ability turn 1. Yeah, oh, yeah, thanks. And then their turn 1 or whatever, they don't tell me about something and capitalize on it. I'm like, right, okay, balls to the wall. My mouth is shut for the rest of the game. And it is the worst experience I can have in Warhammer, honestly. Because that is clean Warhammer. Clean Warhammer is making sure your opponent is fully informed every step of the way, and their way of playing clean Warhammer is making sure you're informed every step of the way. Because the way you win games is by tactically outmaneuvering your opponent and making balanced decisions with all the information present to beat your opponent. It's not about waiting for your opponent to make a mistake to capitalize on it, or like a mistake in this regard of like, oh, actually, you forgot about my ability, so now I'm going to capitalize on it. More like, oh, actually, I probably should have charged that way onto the objective rather than charging that way. Or knowing that this unit can do this, I probably shouldn't have charged it, or I shouldn't have shot at it, or whatever. Because the mistake should be the target priority, where I moved, when I charged, when I spent this stratagem, not, oh, actually, I made a cock up because I didn't know that happened, so I've won, you know, or I've lost, for example. Because I think that is just actually dog shit. And if you want to call that clean, you are so far gone, because that's not clean Warhammer. Clean Warhammer isn't waiting for your opponent to make a mistake to capitalize on it. It's to wait for them to make tactical decisions and for you to make better tactical decisions. In my opinion, that's how you are playing clean Warhammer. Okay? One might argue being better at Warhammer includes knowing your opponent's army and how it works. There is too much going on, and the games are too long to know how your opponent's army works, okay? You can have a very good understanding of an army. I could play a mirror match, okay? I would still prefer to remind my opponent what the fuck my army does or what things I can do in their turn, okay? I don't think, oh, I'm a better general because I remembered everything, is a bollocks take, in my opinion. No, you're a better general when you play like a general, when you have all of the information. If you want to be like, well, actually, in real world, they don't do that. They've got one guy commanding an army and 19 advisors telling them everything so they can make a calculated decision, all right? If you want to be like, oh, you've got to remember everything. You won't get in that in real war. They've got like fucking thousands of people telling them all these things so they can go, actually, now we know all this information. Let's do this in the war or whatever, you know? If you want to be like that, it's just, no. I think the best way you can play is being fully open with your opponent, hoping your opponent is also fully open with you, and then making better tactical decisions, okay? That's how you're better at Warhammer. Not waiting for your opponent to fall into your gotcha trap and just catching them out, you know? Like when you play against Grey Knights, all of them can teleport, you know? If your opponent reminds you at the start of your movement phase, then great. If you keep doing it every turn, eventually you go, look, man, I can't keep telling you. But there is a level of like, hey, man, don't forget about this. Hey, man, don't forget about this. You know? The thing is with it is that most people, like AoS Worlds is like one thing, but like most people don't play enough to remember what every single unit does, okay? And I don't care, right? It is an age-old tradition, right? But it is the dumbest thing where you go up to a table in a tournament and your opponent goes, right, let me tell you what my army does. This does this, this has this, this has this, this could do this, this could do this, this could do this. Because I can't even remember what the first thing does, okay? My brain can only take so much. I get that 3 times in a row over the course of 9 hours or 12 hours if I'm playing 4 games. It doesn't happen. I think it's your responsibility to be a good sportsman, okay? To beat your opponent at their top level, okay? To expect your opponent to play their best game and help them play that. And they should help you play that, in my opinion. Okay, and I think if you just go, well, actually, they should just know what your shit does is dog shit. Actually, just dog shit, in my opinion. I think this is very important post. Sportsmanship and how you represent your country should be a priority in selection. Games should be fun and competitive at their essence. I agree. As I said, like, and I don't think like withholding information or giving the information once and never again is a good way to show the fun and competitive nature, because the competitive nature is the list you brought and how you play that list. You know, you're not telling them how to win by saying, don't think I've got this ability. You're telling them they've got that ability. Now you have to decide how you play around it, you know? If you're playing a lot of Warhammer, you generally know what all factions do, roughly. That, however, doesn't mean you can't remind them. No, Connor, I think that's a great point, you know? I play a lot of Warhammer, especially 40k, you know? I don't know what all the new factions in AoS did, but when I was playing, I had a good idea about what all the factions do, you know? But there are some niche cases, you know, like when I play Blood Angels, for example, when I have Fight on Death. It's 2 CP, I don't use it a lot, but I can have a unit fight on death. It's very crucial at one time, like once in a lifetime, you know? Every 5 games I use it and it'll win me a game. But reminding your opponent that can happen before they charge or join their movement phase, they're going to go, I'm going to move here because I want to charge there. I'm like, okay, just so you're aware, I do have Fight on Death. And they might be like, well, I have to take that into consideration, you know? And I think that's the whole point of competitive Warhammer, is like giving people the information to make a tactical decision. Not like, oh, actually, I made this decision, I charged over there with all the information, you told me everything, and it didn't go well. Can I pull back? Obviously, no. That's crazy. You know, if you start charging rolling dice or whatever, it's gone. It's already done. But having that information every step of the way is helpful for you and your opponent. You know, you're not playing the game for your opponent by telling them you can redeploy. You know, you're not playing the game for your opponent by saying, actually, I've got a -1 damage strat or whatever. You're telling them what they've got. You're not saying, oh, actually charge there because that's better for you. let them come to that conclusion. But if you're saying, oh, actually, I don't want to be playing the game for my opponent by reminding them of my rules, please never play me, because that'll be awful. That's not the same. You're not telling people how to play by reminding them of gotchas that you've got in your pocket, okay? Because gotcha is bullshit, okay? In my opinion. How many times should you tell them about a reactive thing on army rule? As many times as you want, you know, but you should be open about it. And if you are fed up of reminding your opponent, you should say, hey man, I can't keep reminding you of this. Can you please remember? Because I will have to use it next time, you know? If you're telling someone the same thing, like, let's say 5 times a movement phase, you know, if you like telling them every movement, let's say you're playing, again, I'm using a lot of 4K examples because it's just like easy to remember. If you're playing Grey Knights and your opponent keeps moving within 9, and then you go, I'm going to teleport, you go, oh, actually, do you have to pull back? You're like, yeah, just so you're aware, I can teleport 9. And they do it again, then they do it again, and then they do it again, and then they do it again, you know? Then, obviously, you can be like, hey, man, I've kind of said this a few times. Can you just make sure you deploy 9 inside of 9? Because if you do it again, I will. If you're fed up, then fine. But make it clear. Don't just keep your mouth shut, then do it, and then catch your opponent out, you know? But people don't play like this at the top level, and that's a problem. That's what I'm trying to say. If you are saying people don't play like this, and it's fine, then that's an issue as well. If you're saying people don't play with sportsmanship, you should try and say, hey, this is an issue. This is something we need to work on. If you just go, well, actually, everyone at the top doesn't play like this. I do. I still fucking win half the time. You know? It can be done. I played one of the best, most competitive games of Warhammer ever with my good friend Adam at Warhammer World, where I won that gold trophy and that gold ticket. The golden ticket was for hotels and a flight to America, okay? It was one of the heaviest prizes that I could win in this game, okay? And the thing is with it, it was like the stakes were very high. It wasn't just winning or losing the event. It was winning or losing the event, but the winner also gets a free holiday, okay? There was quite a lot of there's quite a lot of stakes in this game, right? And I could have been like, yep, your turn. But no, I wasn't. Me and Adam were having a laugh. I was like constantly, hey, Adam, don't forget, I can deep strike. Don't forget, I've got this little trick. He was playing Custodes, okay? He was playing Custodes, and I was playing Death Watch, okay? And we were like throwing dice under our legs to be like, oh, gotta make a charge. Whoop! We were having a great time. Now, but I will say, you know, I was reminding him of all these things. And he was reminding me of a lot of his things, but then he was looking a bit ropey for Adam, okay? I was looking a bit ropey for Adam. Now, there was a point where I moved a lot of units, and he had an ability called... Oh, I can't remember what it's called. Was it like Castellan's Mark? He had an ability, again, a redeploy, right? If I end a move within 9 of this one unit, he can make a normal move with that unit. Okay. And I did. And he said, I've reminded you about this, and you've done it again, so I'm gonna have to use it. And I said, you are totally fair. You have reminded me about this. I forgot. Go ahead. Okay. So he did. And then it moved him to a point where I couldn't shoot half my army. Okay. It was a really bad mistake. But I was a bit like, right, okay, this isn't fun. You know, that was shit of me. I shouldn't have done that. He has reminded me multiple times, and now I was getting a bit too lax, okay? Next turn, he moves that same unit, and I go, I'm going to Overwatch because I moved in a way that now I can see you no matter where you move, okay? And I Overwatched, you know, and I obliterated the unit anyway. and it was like a time you could like double Overwatch as well, and then move both units to a point where no matter where he moved, you could do it. And I said, okay, in my movement phase, I'm going to move so I can see if you move. And then he did move, and I said, right, I'm going to Overwatch. You've done that now. And it was like, you know what? You were totally fair to do that. I should have reminded you there. And I said, yeah, I didn't want to have to do that. But then you did it there as well, you know what I mean? Like, we both, like, caught each other out, and then afterwards we just went, yeah, let's keep playing, we'll just keep going, and we'll play. We kind of, like, went back to the let's remind each other. Even though we said it every turn, we just went back to remind each other, because ultimately, it turned into a very quickly went very sour, you know? It was like, well, actually, you forgot, so I'm going to do this. So I said, okay, I'm going to do the same thing to you. And that happened at LVO like 5 years ago or 8 years ago. You know? The classic.
Yeah, you know.
The classic LVO Salty Moments video, which has 134,000 views. So if you don't know, this is Alex Fennell versus Tony. I don't know which Tony it is. Okay. Playing a game of Warhammer on the top tables, okay? This is like semi-finals or something like that at the Las Vegas Open. And essentially what happens is Alex is playing Space Wolves versus Ynnari. Ynnari are very good. I believe it's 8th edition 40k. And Alex starts measuring some deep strikes, and Tony helps him lay out the deep strikes, okay? He starts helping him put where the model is going to be for deep striking. And then Alex says, all right, I'm going to move the rest of my army. And then Tony goes, actually, no, you can't do that because you've deep struck now. And that's gone. You know, we'll just watch. It's a 2-minute clip. It's very funny.
They're doing their job. It's okay. What's their job? Just screen and die if I go second. So it should be nowhere in here.
You're checking 18,
Confirm
right?
that. Yeah. So just
No,
from him.
if you just tell me that's what your intention is.
Yeah. Let's just make sure I did it right.
Okay. I'm not going to play that game of, oh, hey, you screwed up and you missed half an inch.
Okay. As long as I'm telling you.
Yeah, as long as you tell me and it's like, all right, vaguely all right.
9.
So Alex is being very upfront. He's like, I'm not going to play that game. Tell me what you're trying to do. That's fine. I'm not trying to catch you out or anything like that.
Should be good there.
You've been playing this game for how long?
A couple years.
Right. So me too. So
over here.
Sure.
For time.
So selfies,
Selfies.
they can't charge anything. They advanced.
We missed the first bit.
you're checking 18,
Confirm
right?
that. Yeah. So just
No,
from him. Okay.
No.
And then it's too close to this guy, so he actually.
Yeah,
it's hard to eyeball that.
This is the content.
So
It's hard to eyeball that, but I think he's like there. Like this thing,
so 9.
And then it's too close.
So this is like turn 2, I believe it is. He's basically measuring out where he can deep strike something.
To this guy, so he actually.
Yeah, you put him where he has to be. That's fine.
Okay.
I have enough multi-charge.
Yeah.
As you can see, look, he's just deep struck. And then Alex is going to move the rest of his army.
So, this was the end of the movement phase. Dropping the guys in.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Sorry, man. I gotta hold you to it.
Yeah, good game. We're good. Yeah, it's. I think you win anyway. I'd like to play, but the. Okay, you know what? Nothing else moves. So the guys that moved have already moved. Yeah, we'll keep on.
So basically, what happened is Alex is deep striking. Tony's helping him, as you can see, helping him deep strike. But then goes, oh, actually, because you deep strike, you can't move the rest of his army because it's that time's gone. You know, it's a big gotcha.
This guy, so he actually.
Yeah, you put him where he has to be. That's fine.
Okay.
I have enough multi-charge.
Yeah.
Yep.
But then what happened is in the same day, the next game, okay, Alex is playing, not Alex, sorry, Tony's playing Ynnari, and there was a stratagem to advance and charge with a Wind Rider unit, okay? And you have to use it in the movement phase. When you move, you advance, you spend the stratagem, that unit can still charge later in that turn, okay? So famously, Nick Nanavati had seen what happened. I think Alex and Nick were like friends at the time. But famously, what happened was...
For time.
So selfies,
Selfies.
they can't charge anything. They advanced. You can use the strat
When do I have to use it?
when you advance. I know. I don't want to get you like that, but you got Alex on that.
Oh my god.
So he advanced, obviously, like, at the time, Ynnari, it was 2 units. It was Dark Reapers being crazy, and then Shining Spears. And what happens is, the Shining Spears advance, use the stratagem to advance and charge, kill something, and then Yunari at the time could do a free action if they killed something nearby, and they just used to use a turbo boost move behind a wall. That's essentially what happened. They jump out, advance charge, kill something, then disappear behind a wall. That's how it played. But because Tony caught Alex out with like, oh, I'll hurt you if you deep strike. Oh, actually, because you've deep struck, that's any movement phase, you can't move anything now. Nick famously got him back. Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, I didn't say it ever, so.
Didn't say it. Didn't take the game points down.
I mean,
I don't like winning like this at all, but...
yeah, well, we talked about it. We all said we knew what I was doing.
Yeah.
So it's like,
I'm sure
you
you
measured it
Alex
for
was
me.
doing when you didn't move.
No, it was different. He just forgot to move.
I'm not going to let you do this.
What?
So
So there you go. So there's content. So I think, like, ultimately, if you want to play that game, you want to be a knobhead. You want to be like, hey, actually, you forgot this one thing. Karma will get you back, you know? Karma will just get you back, because I don't think it's fair. Because ultimately, if you're just trying to have that game, you're just setting yourself up for the most toxic game ever. And I think the better way to play clean Warhammer is to be honest with your opponent. And obviously, if they're showing their intention to do something, and then they go ahead and do it, that's fine, you know? He reaped what he sowed. Exactly, he reaped what he sowed, you know? He was like, well, actually, I've helped you deep strike, so now you can't move. Obviously, no one is going to leave their entire army still and then deep strike something, right? That's just never going to happen unless they say, actually, I'm going to leave my entire army still and then just deep strike this, you know? But ultimately, this is what the idea of clean Warhammer has like ended up being, you know. There was this tweet, as I said, I've already moved forward. This tweet about clean Warhammer, is it here? I think it was a bit earlier.
Will happen. And then if it does happen, get over it, move on. This is
a little bit.
In the moment when this fucking sucks. But then it's like, well, rise above. Like even like this year, we had Emma playing for Serbia. We had Marcella playing for Team UN. American players this year playing at Worlds. We're not on Team America. And that brings a joy to my heart, because we've always been we've always tried to, we would love to have more slots to bring more Americans to this event. So, I mean, if I got to do anything this year, it's to just try to push for, the ability to bring 2 Team Americas. Like, it's not like those teams this year that need the Mercs won't have them available. There's still more Americans that want to come do this. We're probably the largest gaming community in the world in terms of this game. And just that it's not about getting an unfair advantage against other countries by having multiple teams. It's just that we want to make sure we open this as an opportunity for everybody that wants to able to do it. Now, that doesn't mean we're going to open it to every player.
I'll quickly read chat and I'll keep watching that bit. You want to win because you played your best and they played their best. That's exactly the point. That's exactly the point, bud. That was also the first LVO of 8th, I think, so people weren't fully grasping the rules. Yeah, but even still, I think it's very obvious. If someone's deep striking and they haven't moved their army, they probably want to move their army first. You know? Nick seems like a great guy, but I like him more now. I've got a lot of time for Nick, and what he did there is very, very respectable. I really appreciate him for doing that, because again, it's just calm in my opinion.
Table decisions that cost them points at the table. Player,
literally there
as a team. Even if we get the more slots, you still have to go through the program and the qualifications and so forth, right? There are some players we've had to.
No, I want to win because they don't turn up and have a 2-hour nap. If you don't turn up for 15 minutes, you're legally allowed to win.
Turn away because of just attitude or unable to deal with the stress of the game format and not handling it, and just seeing them fold at the pressure, and then consistently making bad table decisions that cost them points at the table. And so forth, right? There's a part of us that's never going to change that. We want to make sure that whoever we show up to represent America is always going to be, we, and I say I, but at the end of the day, I think that's true for the entire team. That is the best we can represent, both game wise And personality wise, we want to win best sportsman as much as we want to win number one spot, right? And I like to say, this year Poland won, I think, best sportsman. But that's only because they had eagles on their jerseys, and what the fuck, we forgot to put eagles on our jerseys. If only we had put eagles on our jerseys. So, fuck us, I guess. We put stars, No, I'm kidding. I'm sure we didn't have any bad rounds at all. Like we've never had like incredibly bad rounds at AoS Worlds. There's maybe like as a collective team setting, I'm sure some of us have maybe had one or two players we were like, it's on the border, but nothing that problematic. Which boils down to like the conversation I've seen prop on Twitter the last few days, which around the type of game that's happening at Worlds is not conducive to fun and fair play in a sense. Like, I think the conversation, I'm not going to try not to throw you under the bus here, Dan, because I think you're the one who posted the thing on Twitter. I just don't agree with the logic of the argument. Like, yes, it can feel a little bit gotcha that like you're basically been told like you can't do this thing because the rule said you had to declare it earlier in the game, and your opponent is telling you like, well, you're too far now and you forgot, I'm not letting you have it. That's like, you're not playing in your local like hole in the wall RTT GT. You're playing at like Worlds. Like, this is supposed to be the format in which people don't make these kinds of execution mistakes. And even if you do, just that rise in the, we've made those mistakes. We've gotten caught, and we were not like, we were sure in the moment we're like, well, this fucking sucks. But then it's like, well, rise above, like push forward. It's like, I'll be honest, like, I think, and I'm not going to put him out there on the recording, but like the team, I think Dan was complaining about, we've played them for 4 years running, and we've never had an issue with them. And I think that, that says something, hopefully, to the audience out there. And also to Dan. I don't know, like, how to fix your quandary, but it's Worlds. It's not your local GT. It's not your local RTT.
I think this like ideology of it is just, again, the toxicness of like, well, actually this is World, so if you make a mistake, fucking suck it, okay? If you forget something because you said you've got a thing that you can use in the movement phase and you forgot to declare it, actually fucking suck it. When the intention is very clear what you're trying to do and you didn't say it, own it. Unlucky. Like, that's just, again, if someone is very clearly doing something and you want to play clean Warhammer, waiting for them to not say anything and you go, actually, no, you can't, now it's too late. We've never had a problem in Wild Great Reasoning. Yeah, exactly. It's very anecdotal, Then again, so is what Dan said. Dan's is very anecdotal. Maybe no one else has had a problem. But I'd rather talk about the problem than just going, oh, actually, I never saw it. I never had that issue. It's just like, again, it's just that whole point of the fact is, the clean Warhammer doesn't mean playing everything perfectly and never forgetting everything. Clean Warhammer is being open with your opponent being open with you, and making tactical decisions that win you games, What are you trying to win? What are you trying to prove? You got a better memory? I got a photographic memory, so I'm the best Warhammer player ever. Like, no, that's not the point. That's not the point of Warhammer. I assumed your intention was to make that mistake. If you're being very clear with your intention about something, I'm moving here so I can charge there. I'm doing this so I can do that. Saying we never had a problem with X is just avoiding talking about the problem. No, I agree. Now, I don't know this person. I don't want to dunk on them too much, but it's kind of like they've responded to Dan and added to this conversation, but I don't agree with what they're saying.
It's supposed to be a game where your execution is flawless. And if you are like maybe in an environment where you think that's like too, or you think that's too harsh, like also like it's, I don't know what else you guys say describe it. This is by rules and definition supposed to be the premier competitive AoS event. What do you want? People to play with backsies and mulligans the entire tournament?
Like, backsies and mulligans aren't the same thing, right? Baxes and mulligans aren't the same thing as going, oh, I tried to do this thing and now you can't because you forgot to declare it, or you didn't have time to declare it, or you didn't have time, you didn't consider it fast enough. Like, if this is the premier Warhammer event, maybe make it look like it's really cool, not just full of dickheads who are like, actually, you didn't say that, so you can't do it. If this is the premier Warhammer event for Age of Sigmar, maybe make it sound fun. You know? Maybe make it sound like people want to be a part of it, not, oh my god, I don't have a photographic memory, I could never be involved with that. The difference between this stance and the 40k WTC plays is incredible. I don't want to be like them versus us, but yeah.
Mulligans and backsies are problematic in the sense that, like, I love giving them people mulligans and backsies, especially when it's like minor things and like, or if they remember it within like maybe like immediately after the roll within the same sequence. Like, I'm totally fine with that. But that's me, and if I expect my opponent to do the same thing, it's unfair to my opponent, because at no point do we have a social contract that says he gets to do that. Maybe if you want to do that, you should talk to your opponent even at Worlds, like, hey, this is how we're going to play. And we've done that, you know, we do that pretty consistently with our opponents, and they're totally chill, like whatever we've described. Like, we set the ground rule for social interaction, and they're fine with it because, you know, we want to make sure we're all playing the same way. But, you know, sometimes I also think that, like, and this is not a jab at people, and specifically, I'm not calling anybody here, but like, there's some teams that have a repetition of wanting to play fair and doing this, and these mulligans back Tixies, but when it's like, you know, game impacting event for the opposition, they will change mode, right? They will switch mode. And I've seen it happen at certain, like in certain games. I won't call it, it's not specifically like teams, it's certain games, and it fucking sucks, okay? It sucks.
So if you've got problematic teams, then maybe make it clear that it needs stamping out and you need to promote a healthy way to play the game. What are you trying to say here? What are you trying to say? You know? Are you trying to say, well, there's actually people who do take backsies, but then sometimes they don't? And then so that means we should never do anything to help our opponent? We should just sit and let them make mistakes and then wait for them to get gotcha'd and just throw out every trap card we've got? No. No, do the opposite. Maybe like, oh, actually, maybe we just need to work on it so everyone's playing the same cool way every time, right? You know, like, fucking hell, is it that hard to understand? If there's people being problematic, maybe the answer isn't, well, everybody should be problematic. Maybe you should be like, oh, actually, maybe we need to stop doing that, you know? And also the idea of the social contract, the social contract. It's just an idea. It's just a concept. It's a buzzword that people throw around. There is no social contract in Warhammer, except for the one in the rulebook that says, please have fun. Don't be a dickhead. That's the only one, you know? Like, that's the social contract. It's not called that, but I'm pretty sure in the General's Handbook now it has one. Does it have one? There's like a bit, and it's like, the ultimate rule of Warhammer is to have fun and play nice. The Player's Code. The Player's Code. Let's have a look at the Player's Code from 2024. Arrive on time. Give your opponent the chance to examine your dice rolls. Make respectful gestures to your opponent before and after the game, such as offering a handshake. Avoid using language that would offend your opponent. Ask your opponent's permission if you wish to use unpainted or substitute models. Ask permission before touching models. Offer your opponent a chance to examine your army roster before the battle starts. Remind your opponent about their rules they have forgotten to use or that they have used incorrectly, especially when doing so is to your opponent's advantage rather than your own. You want to talk about the social contract? It's there. It's in black and white. Remind your opponent about rules they have forgotten to use or they have used incorrectly, especially if they're doing so is your opponent's advantage rather than your own. Never deliberately waste time. Avoid distracting your opponent when they are trying to concentrate, and be careful to respect their personal space. Answer any questions your opponent has about your army and rules that apply to your army. Never complain about bad luck. Measure moves and distances carefully, and never fix the outcome of a game. Always be polite. Always tell the truth, and never cheat. There's the social contract. The social contract says, remind your opponent about rules. Okay? So you want to be there and be like, well, actually, the cleanest Warhammer you can play is making sure you remember every single rule in the game. It's just wrong. You're just wrong. Okay? This is so dumb. This is so toxic. Anyway, I don't want to watch this guy anymore. He's annoying me. But anyway, he made this video. Dan responded. I think you must understand my point. It's not about denying takebacks. It's about weaponizing clean play. And that's the thing. Weaponizing. I never expect my opponent to take off their faction terrain because it was tiptoed outside the deployment. I'd simply be grown up and tell them to nudge their terrain back and carry on. If that's how people want Worlds to be, it's the epitome of preparation, then that's fine. I'll just simply not be a part of it. Peace and love. Which again, I'm friends with Dan, so I'm biased on this point. But, like, I totally agree with you. Like, it's just like, you want to play a clean game with your opponent, tell them to remove their terrain because they nudged it outside their territory when it isn't allowed to be there is dumb. They really be cooking with MS4. If you don't follow the player's cage, you forever pay 25% markup on Warhammer. Yeah, literally. Let's be honest, if you don't follow the player's code, you're probably 3D printing. Casual play, yeah, you should be very forgiving, but top level play, you have to understand the game well. This isn't about not understanding the game. This is about trying to weaponize clean play. It's weaponizing the issue, you know? It's not about, like, oh, actually, just help your opponent, tell them what to do. That's not what anyone's saying. It's about people saying, we want to play clean Warhammer, waiting for them to miss something, and then going, actually, no, you can't. Unlucky. I know what you were doing, but unlucky. You deep struck at the end of your movement phase before moving your army because you wanted to see where things could go. Unlucky, too late. You've done that now. No, it's bollocks. Bollocks. Anyway, I think that's enough on that instance. I did have some interesting AI drama to go over. I also found an interview with the Hawk Tour girl. Her first interview. But I don't know if we'll have time to do both today. And the Hawk Tour is kind of like timed. Sorry you got the 14-step order of operations incorrect, so F you, you lose. Yeah, literally. Reminding your opponent about misrules to their advantage is willingly playing on hard mode, and it's the best way to test your skill. I agree, Luke. Based Luke Evans. Never see your name before, but based. Do both is on the big day. I've got shit to do, bro. I've got shit to do, and no new members. Not one gifted membership today. Actually cringe. Showed up with a PLA printed net list. On one hand, I do know if you played an army, you should know how to play it. No, I agree, but everyone makes mistakes, right? Especially after the long days of Warhammer. Show some data sheets. Maybe not. Reminding your opponent rules is like playing all melee no summons. Issue is when it falls into grey area is missing declaring a battle tactic, for example. The same if the opponent remembers at the end of the hero phase or at the end of their turn, where is the limit. The thing is with it is declaring a battle tactic is a compulsory part of the game. You can't play unless you've declared a battle tactic. So the onus is on your opponent to remember, but if you haven't reminded them, you're part of the problem as well. You know? It's not a, maybe I'll choose a battle tactic. You know? The onus is more on them to choose a battle tactic, right? But if they defend... Look, you've got to remind them as well, because it's a core part of the game. It's not like a thing that just, like, you choose, right? You don't choose to choose a battle tactic. You have to choose one. On one hand, there, I've read that one. It needs to be more explicitly written. It is written. You should both remember. If you both forget, you try and work it out, right? If you go, oh, it's the end of the turn, we forgot a battle tactic. Probably the most sportsman thing to do is to go, I'll choose a battle tactic, can't you? You know? If it's the end of the turn and you've played a full turn, then yeah, in my opinion, you choose a battle tactic you can't achieve. Or couldn't achieve. Or one that's shit. Battle tactic is an ability. Oh, maybe it is now technically an ability. So maybe my terminology doesn't quite work for AoS 4. Because everything's an ability. Oh, maybe you're right. Where is Tactical Gambit? Pick one battle tactic you've not yet attempted. You can attempt to complete the battle tactic this turn. So maybe the idea of ability isn't a great concept because of how everything's an ability now. But they're pretty... It's pretty, like, compulsory. You're supposed to remind players of your opponents in the player's code. I agree, Cass. Yeah. Especially if it's advantageous to you. It says that in the player's code. The social contract that people love to throw around. We've read the social contract today. Remind your opponents about rules they may have forgotten to use or they have used incorrectly, especially when doing so is especially when it's to your opponent's advantage rather than your own. But that's to your advantage, right? When everything's an ability, nothing is. No, I agree. A lot of time with command phase ability, people remember during their movement phase. Most decent people let them use it anyway. It's just good sportsmanship. They just forgot the order to do things, which is understandable because in elf and else you have to remember. Yeah, exactly. There's just so much going on anyway. There's so much going on anyway. There's like a little reminder to nudge your opponent in the right direction is a good idea. Adhere to the social contract when you feel like it. Yeah, getting a little bit of that vibe, to be honest. Oh. That's weird. Nick said, did anyone else see me looking like this? It's very odd. Everything's like super saturated. Halfway through your movement phase, you've forgotten to draw mission cards. You'd redraw. You draw them, but don't redo the movement phase. I would probably go, yeah, that's fine. You know? If someone drew a card and it was like engage on all fronts, they've just ended their movement phase, I'd be like, yeah, it's fucking. Go on, mate, you're all good. Because you just fucking would. Because that's the order of operation, you know? That's the order of operation. You would draw the cards ending the movement phase. If you draw the cards after you've done the movement, you know, then just fucking move it back. If you're halfway through your shooting phase, then maybe not. But I think there's like a time of like, oh, actually, yeah, that's fine, whatever. Just let them redo it. Doesn't matter all that much. No, I agree. Okay, if you've done half the shooting phase, you've charged, and then you've gone, oh shit, I forgot to draw cards. Then draw them and see if you can do them. See if there's anything we can do. Like, can we move a unit that's not done anything somewhere else, you know? That unit advanced over there. Can we advance it a different direction, for example? Sorry, mate, shooting. Yeah, I get you then. But that's what I mean. It's like, if some stuff is starting to shoot, then there's like some things that you can't go back. But there's that level of like, that's not done anything, let's just move it. I might start being more ruthless. That's not the point I'm trying to make, Deck. I'm trying to make it the opposite. Can't wait to get to turn 5 of a game in which my opponent absolutely destroyed me to then try and invalidate the game because they didn't secretly note down their leader and bodyguard unit. What does that mean? Secretly note down their leader and bodyguard. You have to secretly note down the bodyguard? The thing is with it is like the weaponizing clean play is a mid-table thing. It's just cringe. It doesn't say anything about secret on here. It just says use an ability once per battle. It's going to be hard to put down a clear line of yes or no. It's going to be judgment based. Personally, I try to just go based on did you get a load of info like rolling advances. I think it's like there's like definitely a line, right? But like ultimately it's very situation based, but I think just going hard now is crazy. It's a 40k thing in pro, isn't it? Right, okay. On point 8 secretly noted down. Interesting. Is it for a I don't know if I've ever seen that come up. Who knows it? Declare battle formation. In point 8. So you know which of their leader units will start the battle attached to which bodyguard units, which of their transports will start the battle in marching transports. Okay, yeah. As in who's attached to who. I never secretly put that down. I just tell my opponent at the start of the game. And usually my plan is this benefits this unit load, so they're going to be attached there, and it's very obvious. Me Warhammer like chess, you touch them all and can't go back. No, fuck off. I've never referred to it. I've never seen it referred to as secretly note down who's attached where. So I was like, what the fuck? Because whenever I'm like, oh yeah, he's attached to there because he stood next to them on my tray, you know? Or like, here's my tray. He stood next to them. If I've got a unit in a transport, before I start telling my opponent about my army, my captain's already stood in the back with the unit slapped behind it, you know? On the tray. There is no secretly note down. I'm just so open about it. How can it be secret? You're just going to reveal it at the start of the game anyway. What's the point in being secret and writing it down? Generally just be easy, like, does this do this? Let's play and not be a dick. I agree, mate. I agree. That's kind of the point I'm making. I did enjoy using the Alpharius enhancement. Is that the one where you're stealing the abilities from everybody that we spoke about last week? Ah. Okay. Any single people in chat? I think the intention is that when both players reveal, they can't react to their opponent. They can't react to their opponent, but it's such nothing burger. No, I agree. Right, any single people in chat? Let me know. Are you single? Yes or no? Type 1 for single, 2 for in a relationship. You got a logo work? No, I need a codec. DLC mob codec. So 1, 1, 2, 2s. 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 1, 1, 2. What do you mean 1, 2, I'm married to my work, so big 1. Big C's a 3. I like 3. We'll have 1, 2, relationship, no relationship. Or not in a relationship, or do not give a fuck. There's a lot of single people. Okay. There's a lot of single people. That's what we're getting. That's what we're getting the vibe for, okay? That's what we're getting the vibe for. There's a lot of single people. I'm not saying you're actively looking. I'm just saying, are you single? You might be actively looking, which means this next news point, although probably the final news point of today, will help, okay? Because don't you think AI is fucking cringe? Okay? Don't you think AI is cringe? I do. Because I'm fed up of seeing every company ever talking about AI. And this is all relevant, okay? This is all relevant to what I've just asked you. Well, there's an interesting article. Now, I've not read it. I've not read it all, but I've had to skim through. But the headline of it is fucking brilliant. I will fucking pile drive you if you mention AI again. Which is so funny. So funny. Okay. The recent innovations in AI space, most notably those such as ChatGPT, obviously have far-reaching implications for society, ranging from the utopian eliminating of drudgery to the dystopian damage to the livelihood of artists, the capitalist societies, to existential threats to humanity itself. And it's essentially, he's just talking about the fucking AI is done, right? And every company is trying to plug AI into everything. If you work at any, if you know of any new startups, they're all AI based. Every big company is shoving AI into everything. Look at Microsoft. Microsoft launched Copilot. Obviously, if you have Windows 11, you have a little Copilot logo in the bottom corner. And they announced a recall feature where they've been taking consistent screenshots to then feed into their AI system, so they can work out what you're doing on your PC and you can talk to it more naturally, which they then recalled. Okay, Microsoft very famously trying to plug AI into their system in some sort of way to make it better, because AI at the minute is a buzzword. All right, it's a buzzword. McDonald's tried to put AI into their drive-through system, which didn't work. Bacon, ice cream, and nugget overload sees misfire McDonald's AI withdrawn. McDonald's is removing artificial intelligence AI-powered ordering technology from its drive-through restaurants in the US after customers shared its comical mishaps online. A trial of the system, which is developed by IBM, uses voice recognition software to process orders, was announced in 2019. It has not proved entirely reliable, however, resulting in viral videos of bizarre misinterpreted orders ranging from bacon-topped ice cream to $100 worth of chicken nuggets. Okay. Another company just trying to plug into AI. You know, it's just the in thing. But the problem is, chat, is all of you incels are causing an issue with the general economy because there's not enough babies, all right? There's not enough babies in the world. Wall Street Journal put an article saying, suddenly there aren't enough babies. The whole world is alarmed. Birth rates are falling fast across countries with economic, social, and geopolitical consequences. All right? The world is a startling demographic milestone. Sometime soon, the global fertility rate will drop below the point needed to keep the population constant. And now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, why I'm talking about babies, right? The whole thing is, with an economy, right, what happens is all those young'uns, all those young people, right, who pay taxes, who work for a living, our taxes are mostly spent on looking after the old people who have been working all their lives. That's kind of like how the economy works. But because less and less people are having kids, because we all play Warhammer, we don't have girlfriends, okay? Because people are having less and less kids, there are less and the people are worried, like analysts are worried, because birth rates are falling. It means there's going to be less young people and more old people. And because what they want is like an equal. You want, right, this many old people to look after. We need this many people born. This many people die. We need this many people born. And they want it consistent. But that we are on a slow decline of people having kids. As you can see, the US nation's estimated lives birth per woman it's on a general decline from the 1950s. Okay. And it's just like, again, it's like below half of what it was like 70 years ago. And that's the point, is like the less kids there are, less kids being born, it means there's less people going into the economy to pay tax. It's very sad and very brutal when you say it like this. Very sad, very brutal. But ultimately, as less and less people are having kids, it means there's more old people to less young people, and the less young people are out, that means there's less income coming in for like taxes and stuff like that. Can then be spent on looking after the older people in terms of pensions and just general healthcare. Okay, but the biggest place this is a problem is Japan. Okay, Japan is like really struggling. They're probably like 5 to 10 years ahead of this problem. Japan has an aging population. It has a huge population, an Asian population with people who are working all long hours and generally not having time to date and not having kids. Okay, this is and again, if you look at what's happening in Europe and what's happening in the US, if you look at Japan, it's like 5 times worse. Okay, it is even worse. However, the Tokyo government has an idea for all you people who are single as fuck. Okay, Tokyo, the government of Tokyo, is launching its own official dating app. They are launching their own app for dating. Tokyo government is so worried about the aging population in Japan, they are launching an official government dating app to get people to make kids. Because if they don't do something by 2030, it is going to be... Well, I think that's a US stat as well. I think it's like, if something doesn't change now before 2030, we are all fucked. But finding a romantic partner can be hard in Japan. A lot of the country's socializing consists of group interactions centered on student clubs or work departments. But if they don't present any appealing prospects, Japan's social norms aren't always very conducive to meeting someone new. And you might be wondering, Mikey, how is all this connected? Okay? How is all of this connected? Why were you talking about McDonald's having terrible drive-thrus and how everyone's an incel and AI? But the point being is in order to make sure users' trust isn't misplaced, Tokyo, the data app will require some extra verification when registering. At sign up, you're required to submit a photo ID and either copy your family register or paperwork proving that you're not already married. You'll also be required to disclose your annual income. No poor people, please. Documented through income tax and tax withholding document. Other data you must provide, which will be viewable by other users of the app, are your information regarding your highest level of formal education obtained, and if applicable, the type of work you do. New users will have to have an interview with the human administrator, which can be done online, followed by a computer-based personality assessment, all of which then gets fed into the app's AI system, which is used the basis to introduce other users of the app who you're, according to its analysis, most likely hit it off with. Okay? So even dating has AI pumped into it for no reason. So all of you incels are going to be put forward to dates thanks to AI. Thank you, AI. Okay? A government-assigned girlfriend via AI, which I thought was just hilarious. I just thought you were actually hilarious. Hey, dude, you should totally ask this girl out sincerely. Tokyo Metropolitan Government. Oh my god. Actually hilarious. Actually hilarious.
The third impact has a whole new meaning for Tokyo.
Big C, thanks for the tip. So guys, it's not all over. You're incels because there wasn't an AI dating app launched by the government, okay? So lobby your government. We've got the elections tomorrow. Make sure you check their manifesto. They're launching an AI-powered dating app for you, okay? No way. Bye all, I'm off to Japan. I'm sure this will go great. And it's launching summer, so anytime now. Surprisingly, among the final details, the Tokyo government is hammering out whether or not to charge users for using the app. They're going to charge people to fix the problem they have. As it hasn't yet declared that it'll be free, it's unclear if a service fee would cover operating costs, so it's another way to try to ensure that everyone who's using the system is doing so in good faith. It's not all that unusual for local government to play matchmaker in Japan, but such initiatives are usually held by smaller, more rural towns with smaller populations. They most commonly take the form of in-person speed dating style events so a municipality as big as the entirety of Tokyo design its own dating app is something that's grabbing people's attention since it represents a continuous running away for millions of singles to meet one another. There's more people single and less kids being made, okay? So they're fixing it, but with an AI-powered dating app, which I thought was funny. Sorry, guys, can't play Warhammer games, or I have a government-mandated class-based breed. I can't play Warhammer tomorrow. I have a government-mandated class-based breeding session. Oh, don't worry, guys. Just again, if you are single, just make sure you get on the AI dating app. I can't believe the AI dating app matched me with my sister coming spring 2020. Oh, it's just so weird, isn't it? It's so funny. I'll fucking pile drive you to make a baby if you put AI in my dating app. So you think people would send dick pics on a government app? Probably. Probably. People have no shame, bro. Anyway, I thought that was a really interesting story. I thought that was really funny. I thought that was really, really funny. And that's probably going to be it for today's news. I hope you enjoyed the news. We did the AI drama after all. So thanks for hanging out today. I really appreciate it. But the other thing is the viral Hawk Tour meme speaks out for the first time. The woman behind the viral Hawk Tour girl is on an interview, which I was going to watch, but we're going to talk about the AoS drama instead. Check your Discord DMs. Oh my god, it's the assassin. What's going on? Is this real? That's AI. Isn't there an assassin model? I'm sure there's a 3D printable assassin model that looks like this. What's it called? Vindicator. Is it bad that I knew this straight away? It's the same picture. It's the same picture. I've seen that in an anime. Yeah, you definitely have. The dick pics are the only thing you should send on a government app. I agree. Should the Japanese government make the breeding visa hoax an actual thing? Breeding visa hoax? What was the breeding visa they did? But yeah, they're really struggling. Oh, it's April 1st. On the same website, to combat declining birth rate, Japan began offering breeding visas to foreigners. This is April 1st, by the way. It's an April Fool's. But also, maybe, yeah. This is true. Japan reports fewer children and more elderly people for 35th year in a row. I think they've just continued as well. They're in like 40 years now. So yeah, maybe they should. But anyway, chat. I think that's it for today. I think that's everything, I'm afraid. If you haven't already, please look at my web store to grab a t-shirt. This is only available at the end or until the end of the week. I also have the Street Hammer event that's happening on Sunday the 7th of July. That's this weekend. That's this weekend at 3 PM. Pleasant Kenobi, Pete the Wargamer, Lady Kane, Mark from Death and Destruction, Louis, Elliot, Big C, and... oh, shit. Kirioth! Forgot Kirioth. Yikes. Yikers. What's your plan for election coverage? I'm not doing anything. Guys, just remember, if you vote Tory or Reform, voting's Friday, not tomorrow. Okay? If they're doing left votes first, then right votes on Friday. Okay? Just let you know. If you vote Lib Dem, Green, or Labour, you can vote tomorrow. But if you're voting Reform or Tory, just remember it's Friday. We have a fire extinguisher. Oh, yeah, because someone's going to fucking blow open it. How could you forget Kiri? I didn't forget Kiri for, like, after 5 seconds. So, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Today's been fun. There's no giveaway because we didn't make the goal. Before someone says, what about marbles? We didn't make the goal, so no marbles. You denied yourselves. Well, today's been fun. Exit poll, 10 PM, watch along until 3 AM. Nah, I'll be asleep. I'll wake up and just be either happy or disappointed. Anyone else right now, barring Reform? Anyone else at this point? But yeah, thank you so much for watching today. Really appreciate it. Thank you to Big C exclusively for the resub and the £2 donation. So I'll be back Friday with Big C playing General's Handbook, the brand new one, along with Ossiarch Bone Reapers. We're playing the Bone Boys. I said I've been painting this bad boy. Look at that. Look how cool that is. Meow. Bedtime. Bedtime. Meow. Meow. And we were playing that Friday evening. And then Sunday, I've got the Street Hammer event. So loads of AoS coverage this week. And then next week, we'll probably go back to 40k. I need to play Prior Nexus on stream. I know I haven't done that yet, but that's the plan. Okay. So thanks for watching. And hopefully, I'll catch you on Friday, baby. Love you all and goodbye. Goodbye. Have a nice day. Enjoy the rest of your day. Go have a nice lunch. Go outside. Touch some grass, you fucking losers. Have babies.